One of our clients, Sam Dunning, scaled his SEO agency from $0 to $185,000 a month in revenue in just 22 months. And when prospects get on a call with his team, most of them mention LinkedIn as the reason that they reached out. Now, before we started working together, Sam was only posting organically on LinkedIn, but as you probably know, organic reach has been on the decline recently, and his posts weren't getting in front of as many of the right people as they used to. So we came in and we layered in LinkedIn ads, and it changed everything for Sam. It helped keep his company, Breaking B2B, top of mind with the right buyers, turn visitors who didn't convert into booked calls, and tie his SEO, YouTube, and LinkedIn efforts all together into one engine. So I decided to make a video to break down the exact LinkedIn ad strategy that we ran for Sam step by step, so you can see how it works and apply it to your own B2B business. Let's get into it. So the first step, and this is something that I think a lot of people skip, and this is getting very clear on your ICP before even spending $1. So a bit of context, Sam runs Breaking B2B, a B2B SEO and AEO agency that works with SaaS companies mostly. He was already doing organic LinkedIn posts as well as investing in SEO and YouTube, but he needed LinkedIn ads to reach more ideal clients, stay top of mind, and convert the traffic that those channels were driving. And when we started working together, his budget was just £1,200 a month. And look, that's not a lot of money for LinkedIn ads, so we couldn't afford to be loose with our targeting at all. We certainly weren't going to rely on LinkedIn's native filters and just hope we'd catch the right people, which is something that I see a lot of other companies do. Instead, the very first thing that we did was we got brutally clear on Sam's ICP, what his ideal customers look like. And this is something that most people skip or rush through. So we sat down with Sam and we covered a fair few things, but the three core questions I really got Sam to answer was, who are your best clients right now? Which clients get the most value from your SEO services? And what type of companies do you want more of? Normally by answering the first two questions, it helps you answer that third question there. And those questions really force Sam to think about who he serves best, not just about who he could serve. From there, we turned those answers into firmographic filters, and we pulled a very targeted company list using Apollo and LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And this is important. We didn't just pull a list and run with it. We actually went through a lot of the list quite manually, company by company, to make sure every single business on that list was a good fit. Of course, we had some tools help us do that too, but there was a bit of a manual process there, because when you're only spending £1,200 a month, you can't afford to waste impressions on companies that will never buy from you. The reason this step is so important is that everything else we did after this only worked because the foundation was tight. The ads, the content, the retargeting, all of it only matters if you're showing up in front of the right people. And that starts with the list, not with the ad creative. It sounds basic, but it's super, super important, and most people skip through it. And by the way, this is exactly how we approach every LinkedIn ads engagement at the B2B Playbook. If you want us to help you build a LinkedIn ads engine like this for your business, click the link in the description to learn more about how it can potentially help. All right, now back to the video. So step 2 was using thought leadership ads as the growth engine. So once we had our ICP, our ideal customers, locked in, the next step was figuring out what kind of ads to actually run. And for Sam, the answer was thought leadership ads. And if you're not familiar with these, they're ads that promote a post from a personal LinkedIn profile rather than a company page. So instead of running a typical company ad, we were putting Sam's own LinkedIn posts in front of his target audience. Now, there's a reason we chose this format specifically. Sam was already posting organically on LinkedIn, and he already had a decent following. His engagement rates on organic posts were sitting between 8 to 15%, which is pretty high, and it's what we see when people are really posting organically, messages, helpful content that their ICP resonate with. And you can see here, I've got a screenshot, clear evidence, some of Sam's top posts getting towards that 15% mark in terms of engagement rate, which is pretty phenomenal. Now, thought leadership ads tend to get better engagement rates than regular company page ads because they look and they feel like native content in the feed. So you tend to get more bang for your buck. You get more eyeballs, more engagement, lower cost per impression. But we didn't just boost whatever was performing well organically. Before we actually spent a single dollar, we mapped Sam's best performing posts to one of my favorite frameworks for the buying journey called the 5 stages of awareness. Stages 1 to 3 are for cold audience audiences. They're people who didn't know Sam yet or don't realize that they really have a problem that he can solve. And then stages 3 to 5, we tend to push to warmer audiences. People who already know about breaking B2B and they may be closer to making a decision, or they're at least exploring solutions. And look, we don't know exactly where people are at in this stage of awareness, but it's the best that we can do. And it's a great framework for really mapping the questions that we know our buyers have along their journey to a nice framework to make sure we answer all their questions on that journey. And then what we got Sam to do is we filled in any gaps in that content map. So if Sam didn't have a strong post for a certain stage of awareness, we got him to create one, because the goal isn't just engagement, it's to move people through a journey from, look, I've never heard this person, to I need to talk to this person because they're the expert. The other piece that made this work is that every single post needed a call to action, and that's not asking them to buy every single time. I'm going to share some examples of what I mean here. So for early stage posts, we link to helpful resources, things like guides, frameworks, useful articles. Sam does a lot of this kind of stuff. And just to share a few of these now, we can see this is a good one here. Sam saying, if I was a CMO needing more demos by Q1 2026, this is what I would do. Gives a great detailed description of exactly what he would do to help drive more inbound with SEO. And then he has a great video course to link towards. Another example here, LinkedIn SEO is dead. CMO we work with for SEO. That's some good social proof here. And he's got like another call to action there. Here's another good one. And this is something we're going to talk about more later, but Sam has actually partnered with some other people building in public. Tom Hunt is one of them. And the link goes to the full video breakdown of what he's doing for Tom Hunt and other strategies that are helpful for SEO right there. There he links to quite a few things, including his 90 days to revenue guide, his homepage, his podcast, and a link to book a call. And then we have Sam's latest stage of awareness post. This tends to sit in stage 3 to 5, where we tend to get people to push more towards a harder call to action, like booking a call, booking a demo, checking pricing, whatever it might be. And this is a post that Sam did about Fibler, a company that he's working with that just broke 500K ARR. A good chunk of that is due to the work that Sam is doing with them on SEO. And he shares their plan on how they're going to keep growing this company. And you can see here, he's got a link to book a call here. So that's great. Building in public, sharing case studies. That's fantastic. Here's another great case study on how they took a B2B SaaS enterprise from 4,000 to 7,000 high intent organic visits per month. Clear results, clear outcome. Another link to the video analysis. And this is actually one that he did for us, where he helped us outrank HubSpot, Cognism, and CXL for our demand generation course, which was awesome. And yeah, another good call to action to apply for a video analysis there. So the benefit of making sure every post has a CTA and some kind of call to action is that it doesn't matter where someone is at in their buying journey. We don't know exactly where someone is at, but there's always a next step for them to take. Now, these clicks from thought leadership ads are something that not a lot of people measure, and it's actually a custom metric that we track in our reports. If you go into your LinkedIn ads platform, you can see that it's actually tracked as landing page views, but there's no way within the platform to measure the cost per landing page view. And that's something that we track in our own custom reporting. We use Data Slayer to pull it in, and you can see here we track cost per landing page click here for Sam's campaigns. We're always looking to bring that down as much as possible as well. And the results really backed up this strategy. So thought leadership ads were consistently hitting engagement rates as high as 15%. That meant that Sam was just everywhere that his buyers looked without having to rely on organic reach alone. Sam just sent me another screenshot from another demo he got last night, and someone saying that they were retargeted to hell and that they found out about him on LinkedIn. Now, we try not to overdo it. We of course have frequency caps in place to limit how much we're targeting people, but the strategy works. Step 3 is how we're scaling beyond Sam's personal brand. Now, thought leadership ads were just the foundation. We knew we couldn't build the entire business on one person's face. So if Sam is the only person that buyers associate with breaking B2B, the brand can't really scale beyond him. And that's the risk for any founder-led business. So over time, we layered in 2 additional types of campaigns. First, we started running company page ads for Breaking B2B. And so here we've got, you can see we're actually running it from Breaking B2B's company page. This one is about Proposify and the great case study that they have there. A really, really good video that they made. Here's another one, a great case study from RB2B and the work that they've done with them. And here is a third one, which is pushing a free 90-day SEO review that Sam is doing. Now, these ads actually help build the brand identity separate from Sam himself. They're not going to look as great within the LinkedIn ads platform, but they're still a really important touch point, and we can see that they are driving bookings. So what happened is buyers are starting to recognize the Breaking B2B name and brand, not just Sam's LinkedIn post, which is important to scale beyond him. Second, we started amplifying posts from Sam's clients and partners who were talking about the results with Breaking B2B. Now, this is really powerful because it's not Sam saying we're great, it's his client saying it for him. So when a prospect sees a client posting about the results that they got from Breaking B2B, and then that post shows up as an ad in their feed, it builds a different kind of trust. It's social proof, it scales. It's not necessarily coming from the Breaking B2B brand, it's coming from a third party. So I'm just going to show you what some of those look like. Here's one from Tom Hunt. He's well known in the B2B SaaS sphere. He's talking here about how salespeople are expensive, but how SEO can really help you, I suppose, substitute salespeople by driving so many inbounds. And again, is linking to Sam's video breakdown. Here's another one about Adam Robinson saying how he grew from 0 to 4 million ARR in 40 weeks. And then he mentions SEO with Sam Dunning playing a key role there. Here's another great one from Adam Robinson as well, talking about how Sam played an integral role in their growth. Now, these, again, they're third-party validation. So when you see that coming from popular people that you already know, like, and trust, and they're recommending Sam, and they're saying, hey, look at what a fantastic job he did for me, that's really helping build that trust, and we're starting to see more and more booked calls come from that. So the whole point of layering this approach is that the brand grows, not just the person. So Sam still gets the engagement from his thought leadership ads, but now the company itself has visibility and credibility too. So Sam's partnership ads are now one of the top drivers of bookings. It's, again, great for third-party validation. And company ads, while having lower click-through rate, also contribute to inquiries, which is great. Now, stage 4 is constant optimization and feedback loops. And one of the biggest mistakes I see with LinkedIn ads is that people launch campaigns and then they just let them sit. They look at really basic metrics like impressions and clicks, and then they just kind of call it a day. But that's not how you get results like Sam has. Here's what we actually look at when we're optimizing Sam's thought leadership ads. First, we're looking at engagement rate. Are people actually stopping to interact with the post? And then we're looking at cost per landing page click. And this, again, is a custom metric that isn't really available in the LinkedIn platform by default. So we calculate that ourselves in our own report. You look at new subscribers. So how many new people are opting into Sam's content? We're looking at high intent page visits. Are people visiting the pages that signal buying intent, like the pricing page or the book a call page? And then calls booked. How many actual sales conversations are these ads generating? Now, conversion tracking isn't perfect. Sam tells us he gets about 4 booked appointments every week through LinkedIn ads. And here we can see this is our conversion tracking, a screenshot of it. I think this is probably about a week's worth of data. Again, it's not perfect, but you can see we've got 2 who have booked appointments with tracking there. We've got 9 people who visited the book a call page, 26 visited the pricing, 10 who subscribed to his newsletter, and 16 who have viewed his podcast page, because he also runs a podcast too. But it doesn't just stop at the ad metrics. We also have a tight feedback loop with Sam on what's leading to closed won revenue. So it's not just optimizing for the clicks and engagement that we see in the platform. We're also tracking which ads and which content results in paying clients. And that feedback goes back into our ad strategies so we can double down on what's working and cut what isn't. And I think that's the difference between running LinkedIn ads and running a LinkedIn ads engine. One is a tactic that you kind of just set and forget, and the other is more of a system that gets better and better over time because you're constantly feeding data back into it. Step 5 is acknowledging the buying journey, and this is one that I think is incredibly important that so many people miss. Now, most of the people seeing Sam's ads are not in market to buy now, and that's completely normal. It's something that we need to keep in mind as marketers. Many of the people that we are marketing towards, they already have an SEO vendor. They have someone they're working with. Maybe they're not thrilled with the results. Maybe they haven't made the switch yet, or others are still just growing their business business to the point where they can finally invest in SEO and AEO. This is why the top of mind effect matters so much. These ads aren't designed to convert someone on the spot. You can't turn someone into a paying customer unless they really feel your pain, they have a need, and they have the authority and budget to act on it. And this was, again, something that Sam shared with me from last night, one of his more recent inquiries from someone who said, hey, we first heard about you through your LinkedIn. We were targeted to hell through your LinkedIn ads. And Sam asked a good question in his intake form, which is, what made you want to address this now? And this person said money dollar bills, meaning, hey, look, I knew about you well before, but we only just have the money now. We're at the stage where we're ready to invest in SEO. And that's so important to remember. We need to do ads and creative and content that make sure that when someone is finally ready to invest in SEO for their SaaS company, that breaking B2B is the first name that they think of. And that's exactly what happens. When prospects get on sales calls, most of them mention LinkedIn as the reason that they reached out, and they've been aware of Sam for a long period before that. And that's something that a lot of B2B companies, I think, generally get wrong with paid media. They measure success purely on immediate conversions, on lead form fills, on calls booked this week. But the buying journey in B2B is long, especially for higher ticket services. LinkedIn ads play the long game by keeping you visible, building familiarity, so when the timing is right, buyers come straight to you instead of going to a competing brand or searching around. So what's next for Sam? That brings us to where breaking B2B is now and where we're headed. The business went from 50K a month to 185K a month last year, and now the stretch goal is 400K a month. So big goals there, and this is what we're going to do to help Sam get there. First, we're going to start by uploading a new company list to double or triple the audience size. So remember how we started with a tight, manually vetted list? Well, now we know what's working. We can start expanding that with confidence. We need to get in front of more companies, and we're going to increase our budget to do that. Second, we're increasing that ad spend to scale that reach to those new companies. Third, we're scaling the top performing ads into the expanded audience. So the good news is we're not going to be guessing what will work. We have good data on what thought leadership ads drive the best results. So we're taking those winners and we're putting them in front of more of the right people. We're not changing Sam's ICP. We're just expanding it further. So there's no need to really try a whole lot of new ads at this stage. And fourth, we're growing the company page ads so demand scales beyond Sam personally. And this ties back to what we talked about earlier, making sure that the breaking B2B brand can grow independently of any one person. And now as a bonus, I also want to show that we're going to help Sam do some outbound with the top companies engaging with his ads. So LinkedIn do an amazing job at giving you company reports on who is engaging with your ads, which is fantastic. We can then take that list, we can then enrich it with the people who we think it probably is engaging, and then we can start to do some outbound. And our take on what you should do with that outbound, something we talk in CRO school about, is cataloging the market. Adam Mandarovich, a 2-time CRO, 7-time sales leader, talks about it. You're reaching out not to sell to people because there's a good chance that a lot of these people already have an existing vendor or aren't quite ready. So if you try and sell, they're going to close down, but instead call from a place of curiosity and try to catalog them instead, which means finding out what they currently do for SEO right now, what they like, what they don't like, what's working, when they might make a change, when their existing contract is up, and can you circle back at a later date? So you're operating on their timeline. You can't force them to operate on yours. Okay, so if you want us to help build a LinkedIn ads engine like this for your company, one that keeps you top of mind with your ideal buyers, that fills your pipeline with high quality opportunities, make sure you head to the link in the description to learn more about our LinkedIn ads agency at the B2B Playbook. We'll help you with the strategy, the technical setup, and ongoing management so your ads are actually driving revenue, not just vanity metrics. Again, it's the first link in the description. And if you want to learn more about B2B marketing, watch this video next.